If you've ever wanted to buy a Simgot IEM, this is the one. The Simgot EM6L, also known as the Phoenix, and I much prefer the latter name, is the only thing I can recommend that is the best value for money right now. Let me explain. You see, Simgot came onto the scene hot with great design, clean sound, and a signature that was at the very least polarizing, but at the very least also really well liked. People loved it. Some would argue that they would push the treble a little too far just to give you the impression of detail, but most really liked it. And that was the EA500. After that, they came up with a slew of IEMs that were basically variations on the theme. Some better than others, some much worse, culminating in what was, in my opinion, their biggest fumble, the EA500LM. The LM basically pushed the bass a little further because people wanted more bass, but also pushed the treble farther because, well, I don't know why. Because what it ended up doing was messing up the sound signature, messing up the timbre of the sound, and completely getting imaging and staging wrong. Not just slightly messed up, just straight up wrong. Instruments were placed wrongly in music, footsteps were placed wrongly in esports titles. It was just a mess. Now don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful IEM, well constructed and a massively loyal fan base, but it just got things objectively wrong. Enter the EM6L. Now the EM6L, or the Phoenix, is a bit of a peace offering. It's the culmination of everything Simgot seems to have learnt from their previous endeavors and a riding of that line between what is usual and what is unusual, giving you just that Simgot flavor without pushing things too far and making things break. You wanted more bass than the EA500, you've got it. Not as much as the EA500LM, but still, with the right seal, this bass is really, really good. You've got enough mid-bass punch for it to be satisfying and convincing without it actually slapping the soul out of you. So it's not quite that bass head IEM, but it's got a warm, bassy signature that extends deep into the sub-bass, provided the damn thing fits in your ear. Now, nozzle diameter is a bit ungainly, but more importantly, in my ears, the EM6L would periodically slip out ever so slightly and break the seal, thereby losing me all that luscious bass that I wanted. Up in the mids and the highs, it's got that characteristic sharpness that Simgot has, but not only is it not too sharp, not too sibilant, none of those things, I think this is what sharpness should sound like. It's got a beautiful tapering off of the energy as we get into the high frequencies, giving you a nice even frequency response that gives you a beautiful sense of space and imaging. Things are really good. You want to listen to music with things placed around you, this is the one that you want to hear. You want to play esports titles, slap on a pair of EM6Ls. You'll know exactly where the footsteps are coming from. You'll still die like the absolute potato you are, but you'll know where he came from just before you died. And if that wasn't enough, it still retains that nice clean sound that Simgot was known for. Now, when it comes to things like technicalities, detail, depth in soundstage, for example, it's fantastic. And there's only one other IEM which I've ever called fantastic in this regard, and that is the Hexa. Now, the Keyfind Planar also does a very good job with its planar driver, but at the end of the day, the Hexa is a class apart in every sense of the word until now. Swapping between the Hexa and the EM6L, I couldn't really tell a difference. Yes, there were slight timbral differences because they're tuned differently, but all the detail was there, all the nuance was there, and things that were meant to sound like they were coming from behind you in the background sounded exactly like that. This thing handled itself extremely well, and why shouldn't it? The music is reproduced by a single dynamic driver for the bass and 4 balanced armatures. More drivers does not equal greatness. I think we've all learned that in the hobby, but in this case, man, does it deliver. And to top it all off, it delivers all of that in $110, which is not that far away from the Hexa's price. Technical ability like this at the $100 price point is very hard to come by, and so far, because we've had only one option, it hasn't been great. Now, we've got another option. We've got a couple of options actually, and I would say if you wanted the technical ability of the Hexa, but you didn't want that neutralness, you wanted a little more oomph, you wanted a little more sharpness, you wanted a little more warmth in the sound, the Simgot EM6L should definitely be on your radar. Oh, and yes, you're right, the cable, not nearly nice enough for a $100 IEM. Does the job, but it's really not that great. The IEM itself, is the most plain shell I think Simgot has ever come up with, apart from something like the EW200. But when you put these on, none of that will matter. And at this point, I should make an 8-minute video to put ads in and so on, but honestly, there's not much else to say. This has a Simgot flavor, but this is in every sense one of the best IEMs I have heard around the $100 price point, period. And if you sign up to become a member or Patreon of this channel, you stand to win something. I'm not sure it'll be this, but if you become a member, you automatically get enrolled. I'm just saying, just sent out a pair of EA 500 LMs out. Next giveaway will be in a few months, so sign up. Also, affiliate links down below if you want to buy anything. I get a little, you know the drill, right? Okay, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful. Namaste.